Today, very quick video about the issue of the Mezuzah. Okay, I actually have one here. This was actually a gift given to me by a friend, and when they see this, they know who they are. You can also see there's some inscription on it, etc., which is part of the discussion. That's why I chose this one. And we have a commandment that appears twice in the Torah in the book of Deuteronomy, connected also to the phylactery video. You can go and see that one as well. And it says there, and you will write them on the doorposts of your houses and the gates. So first of all, what exactly is a mezuzah? If we take the Jewish practice of having a mezuzah, we're talking about a scroll, not the box. The box is just a cover. A scroll written on parchment, usually with ink. This is what it looks like. This is a European one. I hope people can see this. And these are verses basically from Deuteronomy 6 and Deuteronomy 11. These things are usually rolled up and they're put inside a case. In this case, it's a very big one. And they sit inside, usually wrap them with some plastic so they don't get wet if it's a one that's set outside. There are, by the way, two variants of types of parchment you can use. There's the white parchment, which is based on using lime and a very simple process. And then there's tan hides. This is a Yemenite one, which is brown, as you can see, and has a very specific calligraphy used in it. And it's tanned, which means it uses tannin to actually make it into a type of leather. Now, one of the questions that comes up is the verse there actually literal? Okay, is it literal that you have to really write something, or is it metaphorical? Now, for those who, for example, accept the carrot interpretation, it's supposed to be metaphorical. Carrots do put up something on the doorpost, but it's considered more to be a metaphorical thing. However, it's very interesting, first of all, the symbolic idea of a door. People used to put, for example, in the ancient world, used to put a small pebble, a small rock with some inscription on it, which was a foundation inscription, which was placed on the doorpost. The doorpost was more something to do with covenants and rituals. They also know, for example, certain families would have a small altar next to the door. The doorpost was something protective as well. You have the story in Egypt where they put blood on doorposts. It was a very, very symbolic thing. However, it's quite possible that the description there is actually literal. It's quite possible that what it means there is to actually put some verses on the doorpost to symbolize that the house is loyal to God. So I don't really have any real mechanism to prove or disprove any of these opinions. However, it seems to be that the practice of using an actual piece of parchment as a mezuzah has been around for a very, very long time. They found things which they consider to be mezuzot amongst the Dead Sea Scrolls. There was one piece that was discovered and seems to be a mezuzah. We do know about places where you can find like a little niche in the wall where they used to put a piece of parchment in there. But when people decide if to use one or not use one, they have to actually look at the verses and see what they understand from it. If we consider the verse about phylacteries to be a metaphor, then it's quite possible that this is also a metaphor. However, we do know that in the ancient world, and even to this very day amongst Muslims, carving things on the door, putting words on doors and practices like that actually were quite common and were considered to be something that people did on a natural level. However, it's also quite possible that, when I say natural level, I mean this was something which was a natural practice. This was logical to them. However, it's also possible that this was more of a practice of warding off demons or anything of that sort, which might actually mean that what we're looking at is, again, like phylacteries, a practice that was done by someone else and was given a Jewish twist to it, making it kosher of sorts. So just please remember also that the issue of buying anything like this, there are a lot of people that sell fakes, okay? If you do decide to buy one that's actually made on parchment and is written with ink and by a scribe, you have to be very, very careful where you buy them. Don't buy, for example, off of Ben Yehuda Street. I've actually seen with my own eyes people that sell these things and they're in very, very low quality, very poor quality, or they're not even real. I've even had cases where people showed me something, it was a piece of paper, it was a photocopy. So it's very, very important to understand that when you deal with any of these types of things, any Judaica, which is something which already has to be handmade, you have to check who the person is and usually buy from a source that is authoritative, that actually has good quality. You can see it from the style. For example, if you open up and the letters are clear and it's clean, then you know it's something good. But you can also, when you just open it up and you look at it, you can see it's parchment, it has a different feel. You can see it's ink. You know, if you look at it, it's a lot more shiny than just a photocopy or a printout. And it's just to make sure that you don't waste your money on something. If you're really looking for one thing, you're going to be given something else. There are a lot of forgeries in this field, and it's very, very careful. I know that most people would say, for example, oh, this is just a Jewish practice, but I want to buy one, and I'll buy something cheap. But if you really want to buy something real, it's going to cost a little bit more money. Not necessarily a lot more, but in many cases the prices are similar, and you're actually being given something which is not real. So that's about this from Mezuzot. There's not really much to explain here. I hope people enjoy these videos, and if you have any questions, you can find me on Facebook in Hebrew in Israel, or you can also contact me via email at Hebrew in Israel, one word, @gmail.com. Thank you.